All right, we are smack dab in the middle of January. Or are we in the middle? It's January 13th. Yeah, we're getting there. So we're getting there. 2019's on its way. Starting. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. And I hope you guys are having a great 2019. Same sponsors. If anybody wants to sponsor the podcast, please get a hold of me through joyshappyendings@gmail.com or on the website or on Instagram, anything like that. It doesn't have to be actually monetary. I am looking for some supplies such as lotions, CBD, anything like that. But right now we have our amazing sponsors. We have BlueApron.com. Blue Apron is super cool. I've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it again, at least until they cancel us because they don't want to hear from me anymore. BlueApron.com is a one-stop click. So you go on the website, you decide what food that you would like. You get to pick from like 6 or 7 menu items, and then they send it to you with the recipe card. You don't have to leave the house. It seems like this is a theme with me, is not like wanting to leave the house. So this is my type of thing. It's awesome. The recipes are good. Everybody's New Year's resolution. We're all starting to eat healthy. I mean, at least until March. So give Blue Apron a try. And if you use blueapron.com/happyendings, which is BLUEAPRON.com/HAPPYENDINGS, you get 30% off your first box. We also have Famous Smoke Shop. Maybe your resolution was to take up smoking, start smoking cigars. You want to look cool. You want to look like Bill Clinton. You want to be the president of the United States. Famous Smoke Shop is the shop for you. And they have 2 promo codes for us, HOT20, which is HOT20, and you get $20 off a purchase of $145 or more, or HOT10, which is HOT10, and you get $10 off a purchase of $85 or more. We also have Handy App. Handy App, if you want to, let's say maybe you broke up with your person on New Year's and now you want to clean out their shit. Handy App can help you. They took the bed. You need to build a new bed. Handy App can help you. Handy App, once again, is the one-stop app where people will come to you for any type of need that you have, such as house cleaning, such as building stuff, pool service. Handy App is a super amazing app. And if you go and use our promo code AppSave30, which is APPSAVE30, you get 30% off your first booking. Shoe Dazzle. We all know I love shoes. I'm actually looking down at my shoes right now. Shoe Dazzle is where you actually go online and you take a quiz and then somebody fucking shops for you. You don't have to shop. You don't have to leave the house, and Pretty Shoes will show up at your door once a month. It's a subscription service. You can cancel it at any time. You can suspend it if maybe you have too many shoes, which, whatever, don't understand how that would happen. But Shoe Dazzle, if you use the promo code Happy Shoes, which is HAPPYSHOES, you get $10 off your first box. Dollar Days is an awesome website. This website is a bulk website where you can get shampoo, conditioner. I don't know, maybe you decided for the new year you were going to take over an orphanage. This is the place you're going to want to go. Maybe you want to help the homeless. I don't know what your New Year's resolution is. We all don't know what mine is. So, yeah, if you go to Dollar Days and you use promo code HAPPYENDINGS20, which is HAPPYENDINGS20, you get $20 off your purchase of $200 or more. Or Happy Ending Ship, which is HAPPYENDINGSSHIP, you get a flat rate of $9.95 for shipping. Now, this web podcast is pretty cool because it's a husband and wife. I actually massage Stephanie and Tom. So in the middle of the podcast, they switch roles and who's on the table. It starts with Stephanie and then Tom. Tom was actually the person I took stand-up comedy class, which if you guys have listened to this podcast, I've mentioned him a couple times. So I was very excited to get him on the table. And his wife, who I met a couple times, it was nice to actually get to meet her. And then, of course, their rescue bulldog, Abigail. So, enjoy. Picture, but don't get my boobs. No side boob.
This is my first podcast.
Is it really?
No one ever has me on their podcast.
Oh, I was excited. I'm trying to do couples. Okay, put your head in the hole.
Put your head in the hole.
Yay! Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
What's going on, buddy?
That's the picture I forgot to take with Neil Brennan. Like a jackass. Because I am professional.
You gotta have a checklist.
I know. I have my sponsor checklist.
Who's your sponsor?
We have 6. We have Blue Apron. We have Famous Smoke Shop. We have Handy App. We have Shoe Dazzle and Dollar Days.
Well, we gotta find out about all that stuff from you later.
Yes. So you guys are starting. Are you starting the podcast together?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Okay. Have you ever had a massage before?
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a while.
And on the table. Do you go by Clark? Is that your last name?
Yeah.
Okay. On the table.
Not officially, though. Not legally.
Not legally?
She's Phillips.
Get undressed, get under the sheets. Ooh, you're in for a treat. No, I promise this is not a dream. It's just a happy ending with Joy Eileen.
Stephanie Phillips Clark.
Is this part of the... Did we start?
Yeah, we're started.
Oh, wow.
First time podcast.
What? Hey, is Tom allowed to be talking?
Yes. So when I did, I feel like I'm name dropping, and I'm not doing it on purpose, but when I did Bert and Leanne, Leanne and Bert were in the same room together. So Leanne talked Bert kind of talked during both of them. If we're going to be serious. So, and I liked it. So I'm trying to get couples to do it because it's fun. And like I've got Danish and O'Neill who are not a couple because they're 2 men and they're both married. But I like the back and forth because it's kind of fun to have a third person.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of why I thought of you guys, because you guys can kind of be my guinea pig.
So Tom's allowed to talk.
Tom is allowed to talk, unless you don't want him to, and then we can just shush him.
But we're good. I
Hey,
think
shh.
you can talk.
Hey,
I'm giving our dog a massage while you're doing that, too.
How long have you? She's the rescue, right?
Yeah.
Abigail.
Aww. Okay, and this is your first podcast ever doing?
Like, yeah, no one ever asked me to do their podcast.
Aww.
I barely
it's
talked
pretty
to her.
sad. That's why we're starting a podcast, so Tom's forced to talk.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we limit it to 45 minutes.
You're like, oh, the battery's gonna run.
Yeah.
I didn't even plug the microphone in. Oh my god. See what happens when you're hungover? It's still working though. Alright, so, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, I like to ask first, like, have you ever had any, like, crazy injuries or...
I had a car accident about 10 years ago, and then I saw a chiropractor.
But you married me anyways.
Shh.
That's the only thing about this podcast is you can't relax enough or you don't talk.
Right.
That's the only part where I'm like, no, you can't fall asleep. I will stick my elbow in you. But no crazy breaks, no crazy hospital visits.
No, I haven't. No.
Now, what do you do to relax? What is your relaxing...
Is this a PG-13 thing, or?
Nope. The name of the podcast is Happy Endings with Joy Eileen, so no.
I enjoy a little porn, a little time to myself. I'm
Okay.
sure Tom likes to hear that.
Yeah, I'm well aware of it.
I tell him, don't come down here for 5
And 5 minutes is being generous.
minutes. Usually, he just wants 1 or 2 minutes.
Poor Abby has to sit there and watch our dog.
Well, I don't make eye contact.
No, see, I like to. Anytime I'm in the bedroom, I like to make eye contact with the dogs. Because it just makes it more intimate.
You cannot. You sort of give each other knowing looks when your husband's around. You're like, remember earlier today?
Watch what mom... You licked yourself in front of me, so this is what I'm going to do in front of you. You're super tight. Are you ticklish, or is
Thank
this...
you. Oh.
You're welcome.
I bartend, so my back's all fucked up.
Okay.
And I used to get like a monthly massage, and then I just stopped. But I should get back to it.
Now, what kind of porn do you watch?
I like the taxi ones, like the strangers.
Ah,
Yeah.
because I write romance books.
Uh-huh.
So I'm all, ooh, what kind of genre are you into? Like, I've written a dirty lesbian book. And then I've written like rock and roll romances. So
Now,
no strangers.
you'll appreciate this. You saw that because you had you saw today that Trump misspelled smoking. He spelled it smocking.
I didn't. I honestly got up, yelled at the kids to get them to school, and then kind of got dressed, may or may not have put makeup on, and then came here and forgot the charger to my computer. And I'm freaking out a little bit.
But I remember you had when you wrote your book, you had a spelling error right on your book.
On the cover.
On the cover.
On the cover, it was surviving faith.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it was already printed out, right?
Yeah.
And a reader noticed it?
Yeah. So the day I published it, I was super excited. I did all these author things on Facebook, and I was talking to all my readers. And then it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was getting into bed, super proud of myself. I had sex with my husband. I was like, fucking, this is a good day. He's asleep, obviously, because as soon as he comes, that's what men do. And I get this message on my phone, and it's like, hey, sweetie. And I'm like, hi. And she's like, hey, I love the book. I'm already halfway done with it. P.S. Did you mean to spell surviving wrong?
Oh, jeez.
Like, no. So I got, and I mean, I had teasers made. I mean, that cover was everywhere. And it was her husband who noticed it, a fucking cop. So I called because I was getting them printed, and I called the lady, and I'm like, oh my God, my cover is spelled wrong. Can you stop the printing? And she's like, honey, let me do what I can. It's 10 o'clock at night. The printers are closed. And I'm like, cool. And she's like, I will call you tomorrow. And instead of calling me, she sent me a text message with the tracking number.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, I have 20 copies of my book spelled incorrectly.
Just 20?
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad.
It's not bad, but it still hurt.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my mom's like, Sissy, that's the one I want. I'm like, of course you want the one I fucked up on. Like,
yeah. That's the one that's worth money.
Right.
It's like Stephen King and The Shinning.
The
Shinning.
And the It.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, besides porn, what else do you do to relax? I'm very interested in this because I've never had a woman straight out say she likes porn, which makes me kind of happy.
I used to drink, but I quit drinking a few months ago.
Okay.
I do that to relax. I just watch a lot of TV. I don't know.
Pet Abby. Take care of Abby. No?
Shh, quiet.
See, I can't watch porn. I don't have the self-esteem for porn because I start watching it. I'm like, oh, she's so skinny. Oh, she's so pretty. No, I don't want to be a part of that.
I notice the house decor. I'm like, oh, those are nice curtains. I should get those.
There's a comedian.
Wait a minute. Is that how we've designed our house?
Yeah.
Based on brazzers?
Uh-huh. You know what? That table does look familiar. Yeah.
They should have an HGTV show in porn.
Yeah, why not?
Oh my gosh.
Let's go have sex over on the veranda. Over on the dresser. This is available at, yeah.
It's a good idea.
Either that or they come into a porn set and they're like, oh, this is all wrong, honey.
Right.
And they just totally fix up the porn set. Like, how are you supposed to spread your legs in a V?
And you can click on the items you want.
Yeah.
It's available, $299 on Amazon.
Everybody keeps trying to click the porn stars. The porn stars are not available. Display only. We're just showing you what it would look like. So you still do comedy, right?
Yeah, I do stand up and I produce some shows.
Ooh,
yeah.
Fancy.
Early on, I realized you have to write shows to get on other people's shows. So and then I really started liking producing shows too, figuring out the lineup. I
haven't done that. That sounds like fun though. I would really like to do that.
It's worth it. It's for all the work you put in. I've been doing comedy a lot longer than Steph, so I've been doing it 24 years, but she's sort of figured out more of the shortcuts, because I spend so much time trying to get into clubs and this and that, and it's just you can book your own room and, and the venue pays you some money and then you book the comics from that amount you're paid and you've got this guaranteed night every month that you're going to go up and you can decide if you want to host, if you want to feature, if you want to do whatever.
Right.
And it's just so much smarter, and it's like, why? That's what we always say is.
And it's like quality shows too. Like a lot of shows I do in LA, they're not good. There's like no one that shows up.
Yep, they're all comics.
Or there's like too many comics on the lineup, and the show's like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I like being in control and putting the show together. And like, I get people because we're out in the suburbs, we get real audience.
So you do it out here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try and get one in Santa Clarita.
Oh, nice. I have one out there too at the Dude's Brewery.
Oh, you're the ones that does Dudes?
Uh-huh.
Nice. All right.
I should come out to it.
I should, yes. Because anytime I'm doing open mics or mics, I'm driving. I'm just driving so much.
Do you live out there?
I do. I live in Santa Clarita.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll have you on the show out there. It's still ongoing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're having a manager transition out of there, so we might. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
that's what happened to Hooters.
My
favorite. That was my favorite mic. I loved that mic, and they got a new general manager, and because the mic was Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and he's like, "No, I want the upper room for football," and we're like, "What football game's on at Wednesday at 10?"
Right.
And I mean, the guys did it all. They built the stage. They would set up.
It sucks. It just sucks when you don't have people on your side and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now they actually went across the street, and it's at Cabo Wabo now, and the stage is bigger. So I mean, I guess it worked out for the best. Parking's cheaper, so that's always nice for me.
That's in Santa Clara, or
no? That's in Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Well, plus aren't all the Hooters just closing in general? Like
I think so.
kind of.
Yeah, you should start a show out in Valencia. I think. Yeah, it's there's nice people that come out to the shows.
Yes, because I'm doing everything. I got a job at the Comedy Store.
What's your job?
I'm a food runner.
Oh, really?
I've never worked in a kitchen a day in my life, and I bring chicken tenders to very drunk people and try and get on friends and family now. So
you should. There should be what comedy club? They should have an in-house masseuse. That's what it should be.
So I've been doing the green rooms at some of the shows. I did the green room at the Goddamn Comedy Jam.
Oh yeah.
And I've met some really amazing people. Like I stood next to Toni Braxton and giggled. I was all and then she looked at me and I walked away very quickly. Did
you get Bill Burr? Did you get to massage Bill Burr?
I've not, but I've talked to him.
He's so nice.
And Bill Burr hates the song Bohemian Rhapsody with a passion. So we were at the Goddamn Comedy Jam, and Jim Jeffries did Bohemian Rhapsody. Because what you do is you do like 15 minutes of stage time, and then the band comes on and you sing. It's a fucking amazing way to get comedy and rock and roll together. Mm-hmm. And Jim Jeffries did Bohemian Rhapsody, and Bill Burr was in the green room just, fuck this song! Why the fuck? This isn't even their best song! And then Jim Jeffries got off stage, and Bill Burr was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why that song? Yeah,
it's a hard song to pull off, too. I mean, plus it's like, I always hate picking a karaoke song that's like 8 minutes long, and then you're like 3 minutes in there, you're like, oh my god, I've got 5 more minutes of this.
Still up here. Can I start doing comedy now?
So then you got a job at the Comedy Store to go up?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
Because, we're there all the time. Like, there's a podcast there called Kill Tony that John and I kind of do date night with, and it's just basically me trying to get up on stage, and I take my husband along to pretend.
You did Kill Tony, right?
I've been up on 4 or 5 times. Yeah. So, and then I get to do the potluck every once in a while because now I'm friends with the door guys. So, I don't know. And I just started doing the massage to try and get in too because I'm kind of hoping they're like, oh, this chick's kind of funny and she touches me naked. So, maybe I'll let her open for me. So,
that's how it works there.
That's what I'm trying.
Is Chow Fang still there?
Meng Chow, yes.
I know Chow from Milwaukee.
He was very drunk last night.
Oh, I imagine.
We were all, yeah. And then I tried to do karaoke for the first time, and some chick, I don't know who she was, but later on she told me she had brain damage, so I can't be mean. She jumped on in like the beginning of Bobby McGee and took over. To the point where I was in the back of the stage with the microphone down, like, I don't know what to do right now. Are you alive down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a podcast. Though.
You won't shut up. So.
What?
Just kidding.
Good one.
I think she was talking to me. So, what are your plans now? Like, what's your next step?
Oh, for comedy or
For anything.
or for the day, to get through the day.
What are you going to do to get through the day? What does Stephanie Phillips Clark do to get through the day?
Well, tomorrow we're going to the Sizzler. We have a show out there, so that's
In
pretty
Torrance.
cool.
Oh, that's fun.
The Sizzler in Torrance.
Yeah.
And then, we got New Year's Eve in Oxnard.
Ooh, at Levity?
Levity, yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, we're not at Levity, Tom.
I mean, not Levity.
We're at Straight.
Straight Stones.
Oh, okay.
You're
It's a
off the
winery.
show.
I'm sorry. That's one of the shows Steph is booking.
Oh, very cool. How many shows do you book for?
I have about 4
Hell yeah.
or 5. Yeah.
That's cool. Now, did you take Tom's class?
No.
He was my best student.
He wishes.
How did you guys meet?
We met at a bar show out in Thousand Oaks, and I always tell him I liked him because he didn't try too hard.
And I always say that I was trying my hardest.
So you were doing comedy already when you met him?
Yeah, I was only a year into it though.
Nice.
Yeah.
How far into it are you now?
It's almost 8.
Damn.
Yeah, but it feels like 4 months.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I did Kill Tony, I bombed.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember you going up. I've had a couple of my students asking, I'm like, it's just not a good... I mean, nobody's funny in a minute. I mean, Bill Burr could walk up there and do a minute, and he's not going to kill. And people are going to be like, yeah, you seem too angry up there.
So you'll do a minute of it?
You do one. You know what, though? You'd be surprised how many people... Like, I have my Kill Tony jokes that are just specifically, like, if I get called up on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised. There's been a couple times people have killed so hard that they'll get time. Like this one kid, Jay Snow, he did a minute, and it was so funny. He had like 3 applause breaks in a minute.
Huh.
And Ron White the next day was like, come open for me.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, and I know like Brian Redband, he has the Ice House shows, and there's been times, not with me, where he's like, hey, you want to come do 5 minutes at the Ice House? So it's pretty, and it's the #1 live podcast in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of exposure. Like every time I get up, I get either a lot of hate mail or a lot of followers on Instagram. So yeah, that's cool. Because the last time I did Kill Tony, I did my miscarriage joke.
Oh, jeez.
Which killed, I mean, more than the babies. And yeah, either people were like, I can't believe you joked about miscarriage. And then I had other people were like, holy shit, that was the funniest set I've heard. So I don't know. You can do it. Yeah, but there's a lot of people who do the minute for their first time. Like a lot of times, like they'll be just shaking up there. And Tony's like, is this your first time on stage? And they're like, yeah. So that's just a way for people who don't. Like I had no idea how to do it. The first time I did stand up, I did 5 minutes. I paid $5 for 5 minutes at the Ha-Ha. And then I didn't know what else to do and then I waited 2 years until Derek's like, have you ever done stand-up?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I paid 5 minutes at the Ha-Ha once. And that's when he was like, okay, you need to talk to my friend Tom. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is I don't know how people start out here. Like I started in Milwaukee, so it was like, easier because there's no pressure. Nobody knows what we're doing. So
right.
It's like a unique thing. And you can bomb sort of in private. Nobody knows any better. And that was before the internet, so I was like, nobody was recording your sets and posting them online. So.
Writing you hate mail on Instagram.
Yeah, I can't imagine the monsters on that.
They're so mean. Now, did you start out here, Stephanie?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Now, what?
And sometimes, because you started out here too, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like, for me in the beginning, sometimes bookers only remember or think of me as how I started. They don't see my progress.
Yes.
So like sometimes I don't get better spots on other people's shows that who I started with because they just see me as like, you know, the person I was 8 years ago.
Which is ridiculous because I can tell you my comedy from when I started to now is completely different, and I'm sure in 10 years it'll be completely different, or it won't be going at all, depending on how bad it drives me down. So,
yeah, I think the key is you can't judge yourself against other people, and you gotta kind of just, we all have our own path to doing it, and you can't, you know, you just gotta enjoy the journey. That's one thing Steph taught me was when I started was like, because when we met, I said, I want to be on Conan. And she's like, then what? And I was like, I don't know. And then her point was just sort of that, like, well, what about what you're doing now? You're a working comic. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. And then when I started working on my Conan set and actually got to do Conan, I think it was much more fulfilling because, like, oh, wow, like, I enjoyed everything leading up to that. And when I got Conan, it was just a great accomplishment and, you know, something I was very happy about and could move on to the next thing without being like, well, now what?
Right.
You know, so I think that's the important is you got to enjoy what you're doing now, which is, you know, that's sort of the fun is the journey of it, of like bombing on a Kill Tony night or killing on a Kill Tony night or just, you know, singing Bobby McGee and somebody takes the mic from you.
With brain damage.
Yeah.
Let's keep that one in there. And I was like, what is happening right now?
That's most of the comedy story, the brain damage. Though.
Yes. Although it is my favorite place in the world. Like, I walked in there and I'm like, okay, home. This is where I belong. And then all the door guys started talking shit to me, and I'm like, yep, it's just like home.
I remember when I first started, I performed there, and I don't know, it's probably different staff, and I've heard it's gotten better, but they were just so rude to my, like, you know, my friends that came out there, my mom.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I've always found the Comedy Store to be pretty dark and not very welcoming. I'm just, like, I got into comedy because I was like, I like having fun, and I like making people laugh, and it's like, and I feel like sometimes out here it's like, what's your message, man? What are you saying on stage, man?
Yes.
And I'm like, you know, for me it's like I'm not trying to change the world with my stand-up. I just like making people laugh.
Or just LA clubs in general. It's all like, all they care about is just the names. You know. And
no, but I like that because what you said about enjoying the journey, because you have all these millennials who have a lot of entitlement, and I've seen it, and it's great. Like, I need to be on stage. I'm like, well, why? Like, what makes you better? So it's not, and I do, like, I get excited anytime somebody's like, I will do your podcast, or if I write them and I'm like, hey, do you want to do my podcast? And they say yes, or hey, do you want time? It's fun. Like, that journey's fun, and why not? Because who knows where it's gonna go. So
yeah. No, and that's why I was never big on trying to get into all the major clubs. I just I didn't like the idea of somebody saying, like, I got to approve you. I did audition for Mitzi, I think, when I first moved out.
Did you really?
I mean, I never even met her or anything, but, you know, but to me it's like, why is this person the gatekeeper? Like, you know, what do they know over someone else? And I just felt like I just want to be doing stand-up. Like, I don't really want. So I don't know. I just think, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like I just like being on stage, and that's the fun part of everything. So.
Oh yeah, they hand you that magic talking stick, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was just something about the Comedy Store that clicked with me. But I could see it with other people. Like, I have a dog named Mitzi. Like,
oh really?
I have a dog named Farley as well. So
you're pretty comedy.
Just a little. Yeah. My kids are, you know. I have a kid named Brody, and Stevens Brody Stevens. I told him that once. I'm like, yeah, we have my youngest son's name is Brody, and he goes, thank you.
He's so funny.
He knows. Yeah, he was like, oh my gosh, when I was taking classes with you, I told him, and he's like, I love Tom. So
yeah,
he's so funny.
He's so. I've known when I first came to LA, Brody and I competed in this competition for like Comedy Central, and I saw Brody and I'm like, what is this guy doing? He's yelling at the crowd for 7 minutes because we just had 7-minute sets. But
Sorry, my legs are hairy.
No, that's sexy. I'm digging it.
Okay.
she's apologizing to me.
She's natural, Tom.
Yeah, it's all natural.
You don't want any of these fake women, and they're all around LA.
Yeah.
Boom.
This leg hair is real.
none of this
implanted.
fake leg hair like these other women.
Do you guys bounce off of each other all day long?
We'll definitely make each other laugh. I don't know.
He's always walking away from me, and I come back here and listen.
Come back here and listen.
What do you think of this?
Yeah, well, not so much. We don't really even.
We don't write comedy together.
Yeah, we haven't really written comedy.
I'll be like, hey, I have this idea, and then he'll help me punch it up or get to the meat of it.
Right.
But if we write a script like we do our web series, The Clarks.
Yes, you do.
So that I'll usually write the idea. We'll have an idea, and then I'll write out the script, and then she'll go over the script and kind of give me notes on that, how to oh, we don't need this, we should put that in there.
Yeah.
Little
Tom's
punch
good
up
at story. I'm good at dialogue.
Right.
Yeah.
And cutting.
So then in that respect, we work together, and just here and there, we'll just kind of have funny moments we experience, and then we're like, oh my god, that would be a good episode. So,
I don't know. I think it'd be fun because John's a wimp and would never get on stage. But him and I, we were like, oh, that's this morning, I was super hungover, and I was at a stoplight after dropping the kids off, and I looked over, and some chick was holding this large Starbucks, and I started in my head catcalling it. It's like, oh, baby, you're so pretty. I wonder what you taste like. And so I called John and was like, yeah, I just catcalled Starbucks. And he's like, that would be a funny bit. So, and then we work it out. So I don't know. That would be cool. And I don't know.
Yeah, well, sometimes we'll have those moments of whose bit is that? Is that yours? And I've done jokes of hers on stage. She's done jokes of mine on stage.
I've had comics do jokes of mine on stage.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you call them out, or what did you do?
No, one of them was way bigger than I was, and I did it on Kill Tony, and but it's also a very easy joke to come to. So I don't know if it was parallel thinking.
What was it?
It was I don't understand why people are getting mad that women didn't come out 20 years earlier with the hashtag Me Too. Well, because 20 years earlier, the hashtag was the pound sign, and pound Me Too is a completely different, which, I could see it's kind of easy to come to, but it was just the way it happened, I don't know. Well, it was very suspicious.
Yeah. I had a sketch that was taken from me. I had submitted something for the Man Show, so I submitted a writing packet, and one of my ideas was something called blow darts, where it was and your wife's bothering you to clean up around the house, use blow darts. And
right.
So it was a funny idea. I submitted it. I didn't hear anything. Pretty sexist. Right up their alley.
Before me.
Before you.
Yeah, totally.
But that's the mentality is what's the most sexist, horrible thing I can think of? Oh, blow darts. That sounds horrible.
Right.
So I wrote it, and then I didn't hear anything. And then a couple months later, I was in Chicago, and I worked with this girl she was the host, and I said, we were talking about acting. I said, oh, did you audition for anything? And she's like, oh, I auditioned for this really funny thing. It was for the Man Show. It was called Blow Darts. And I was like, what? And then she said the sketch, and I was like, yeah, I wrote that. And then I remember I had to email my manager, and I was like, look, I wrote this. They're using it. They already shot it. And he's like, or they said they were going to pay me after they shot it. And, of course, they finally paid me and everything.
Yeah, because they got caught.
They got caught, yeah. But it was it's frustrating. But I don't really care. I call people out on their stuff because it's just you can't let people get away with stuff like that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tom does all the time. I love that.
Yeah.
I had another one, and like I said, well, no, this one wasn't parallel thinking because it was years ago when the bad fires, and they were online, and they were like, oh, the fire planes are doing the fire retardant. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't believe they're still using the name fire retardant. I can't believe they're not using fire disabler.
Right.
Stupid. And this open micer liked it and laughed because I tweeted it. And then the other, like 2 months ago, he was like, yeah, I can't believe they're still using fire retardant. And I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. But I didn't say anything.
Right.
Because who am I?
Well,
You said it, and then it's like clearly they took it. I think it's important. I mean, I also think it's important to pick your battles, but I think it's important to call people out on their shit.
well,
What?
I remember these comics, there was like a showcase in Chicago, and I remember these comics were arguing because they all had these dodgeball bits about whatever. It's something about dodgeball. It's like, oh no, man, I'm going to do my dodgeball bit. I'm going to do my dodgeball bit. And it was comic, it was Jimmy Pardo, and he's like, look, nobody's going to make it based on their dodgeball bit. He's like, don't worry about it and just be funny up there. And it's
Right.
and I think that is also part of it. Like, if it's something like I had somebody who took my closing bit, which was I still do it. It's a montage where I do a slow motion montage at the end of my set of summing up my whole set. And there's another comic who did that, and I called him out on it.
And he did it on Comedy Central.
He did it on his Comedy Central special, and I had talked to him several times about it, and he said, oh, I won't do it. I'll find another way to do it. That won't be like yours. I'm like, well, I don't know how you're going to do that, but yes, I'd prefer you not do it anymore. And he said, okay, I won't. And he did. And then when he went over to the Gersh agency, my old agent went over there, and my old agent was like, hey, I'm looking forward to being here. I'm excited to work with all the clients. But I'll say this, I'm not going to work with, and he said the guy's name. He's like, because he's a thief. And I was like, and then the next day I got a call from that comic saying, hey man, we need to talk. And I was like what? You took the bit. Like, you're a thief.
Right.
Like, they just called you out on it. And now he does motivational speaking, and he's like a Tony Robbins knockoff.
It's not. Does he work at the Comedy Store? Tony
No.
Robbins.
No, actually, that's funny. That's what Steven does. He's doing sort of a knockoff of.
Yeah. I ruined his sobriety last night.
Oh no, because he was.
I made pudding shots
Ooh.
with alcohol in them.
Right.
And I guess I didn't label them, and he had one, and yeah, so that was it. All right, is there anything you want to say? Are you good?
Oh, that feels so good.
Okay, you're going to talk more with Tom, watch.
Yeah, I better, because
You're
he
gonna-
keeps interrupting. Huh?
All right.
Right. Here you go, dear.
All right, let me change out my lotion.
Oh yeah, bathroom's right there if you need to.
Do you want me to wash your hands, or do you want me to wash my hands?
No.
Are you
it's
okay with them?
This is the most I ever seen him talk, too.
It's because I'm awesome.
Yeah, you are.
Great host.
Look at him. He shines with these podcasts.
Look at Tom.
I love podcasting.
You do podcasts all the time, right?
Yeah, once in a while. Abby, what's happening?
He's got a cute little butt cleavage going on.
Yeah.
That's just.
You gotta put your head in the thing.
Oh, I gotta take the picture. You're so smart. Okay, because I forget to take that amazing picture that everyone loves. So, okay.
You're next, Abby.
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. Okay, perfect. Ta-da! All right. And the computer's still running. Woo.
You know, like with the podcast, it's great too. But if you go visit comics, you get a lot of money, I bet.
Well, I don't take when I do the podcast.
Oh.
Right. So, like a couple, comics are like, "Can I pay you?" And I'm, well, no, I just need you to use my phone number liberally. Please use my phone number liberally. Anybody you think would be good on the podcast, because it's a fun concept, and some of the comics I wouldn't even expect. We've had the most fun on the table. It's so much fun. And, but a couple of them, I'm not going to name drop anymore, but I'm just super excited. A couple of comics have called me and they're like, Joy, come. And I'm like, okay. And then that's when I get paid.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
That's a great way to get your business going.
Right, because what I'm hoping is, because I make a lot more money on the privates than I do the chiropractor. Mm-hmm. Because I've been there 11 years and haven't got a raise yet.
And it's because it's your own thing, too.
Yeah. And I come to them, and, I have the table, I have the sheets. Normally I have I'm way more professional than this. Thank God it was you guys.
Oh, with the charger.
Yeah, with the charger, not plugging in the microphone at first. Just,
We'll have to have an event with Funny Girl Events. That's
And the
my
massage,
company,
yeah.
With the massage.
Okay.
You involved. That would be dope.
So I do the green rooms too, where I just, I'm not even a comic. I'm just Joy the massage therapist. But I did it once, and I'm trying to find a place for it where I did quickies. So what I did is I also have a massage chair.
Uh-huh.
And so any of the audience members that wanted to, they put their name in a bucket. And I did a disclaimer like, hey, you can't sue me, you can't sue the place, blah, 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 blah. And I pulled their name out of a bucket, and it was me, whoever got pulled out of the bucket, and then a comedian. And we just crowd worked on this person while they were in the chair. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was 15 minutes each set. And I had Joe Dosh, I always fuck up his last name, and Brian Simpson. And we had so much fun. But I only had like 7 people in the audience. A lot of them were comics, whatever.
So you walk like in the crowd and give a massage, and the comic on stage is riffing?
They come up on stage.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah.
So they came up on stage, and
Come here, stay here.
so, and then Joe was like, Joy, this is fucked up. And I'm like, why? And he's like, you basically invited me to do a show where I'm watching somebody get a massage. I'm like, oh, that is fucked up. Okay. So I got Joe on the table, and then my producer came up, and it was me, Joe, and the producer, and it was so much fun. And everybody's like, when are you going to do it again? We need to do it again. And like the guy who ran the room, he shut us down early because there wasn't very many people in. But even the bartender's like, no, this is fun. Like, you guys need to keep this going. So I'm hoping to start making that a show.
That's awesome.
Because it was fun.
That's cool.
I know I said that a lot, like fun. But it was. So, I mean, I'm actually trying to get it in the belly room at the Comedy Store right now.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Nice, intimate space.
Exactly.
Cool.
And everybody, like, I have a bunch of comics who are backing it for me. Because obviously I'm no one. So they're like, Joy, I will back you. Like, I'll endorse it. So I don't know. We'll see. But any place right now, because I want to do it live, where I just record it and I put it on like Instagram or YouTube or something. Tom's still on the table, by the way.
But that's such a unique concept, and like, there's always random shows, and that's like an actual good idea.
Right.
So why not?
And we have a sponsor for a girls' tour from Cora. We just haven't had time to schedule it because they want us to go. I guess Cora's based in Vegas, and they want us to do at least one show in Vegas, and that's just girls. So I don't know.
That's cool.
I've never gotten a massage before.
Oh, hi! Are you here? You've never had a massage?
Never. I mean, I had somebody like rub out like a kink in my shoulder or something, but I'd never had this.
Was that a family member?
It was a family member. My dad.
You want to talk about it?
My dad said, "Tough it out, you little bitch."
And then stuck his thumb in you?
Yeah.
I mean, and you're not in you. Unless you want to start giving secrets. We can do family secrets if we want.
I got no secrets.
I have no family. My family sucks.
What?
What?
Your mom's gonna hear this podcast.
Well, my mom is wonderful, and the cousins are great, but there's just this mom's side that's just so mean.
Family's hard. Like, I have one. I love my sister-in-law, but I have one sister-in-law that told me, I don't understand comedy. I don't get it. I don't know why you're doing it. Okay. So.
Now, when you're giving a massage, can you tell like oh, this person has a lot of stuff going on, or like does Neil Brennan have like, because he's pretty prolific, is he like, oh, this guy has no tension? Does he have a lot of tension? What is he like?
He had a lot of tension. He had a lot because. A lot of it's just, he sits at it, like, seriously, he got off the table, and while I was putting the table away, he went straight to his computer.
Oh, wow.
And he's and he's on his couch, and his computer's on his coffee table, so it's not ergonomically correct, and he's hunched over it, probably writing something amazing, and it's gonna make millions, and, yeah. So.
Abby's staring at you, Tom, so there's some pictures.
Oh, baby.
She wants next. Abby's our English bulldog.
Hi, baby.
Abby, this is pretty amazing. I don't even give you this good a...
She's so confused.
What is that, buddy?
Now, does she have loss of her back legs? Or is she just...
That's just how she sits.
Ah. Because I had a basset hound who, when she was 8, she lost her back legs. Oh. So we had to get her a doggy wheelchair.
Oh, nice.
And I put in the measurements for it, and the wheelchair people, because it was like $500, and the wheelchair people called me, and they're like, we think your measurements are wrong. And I'm like, she's a basset hound, and they're like, nope, that's about it. All right. Okay.
We thought there was something wrong with her when we got her. We got her through a rescue group.
Because you can't get her to walk. Like, she won't do anything that you want her to do. She does everything on her own.
She's very stubborn.
She's like a kid.
But she's fine.
But we just let her control things.
Yeah.
She runs this bitch.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids and 3 dogs, and I don't run a damn thing. And then my husband goes out to sea a lot because he works for the Navy, so I'm single mom a lot. So the dogs rule the world and the kids.
How old are your kids?
Almost 8, almost 13, and 18.
Where are you going?
Oh, okay.
And we'll see if the 18-year-old survives.
You're too young.
The 18-year-old's my stepson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
But he was 3, almost 4 when I came into the picture, so he's mine.
Oh, wow.
Except when he's being a pain in the ass, which is most of the time for an 18-year-old.
So are they all excited about you doing comedy, or how do they always tell you jokes, or?
The almost 8-year-old, yes. He sparkles. He might be gay. I'm super excited about that because I've always told him whichever one's gay is going to be my favorite. So
they're all trying their best to be gay.
Yeah.
I'm gayer than you are. Shut up.
I looked at a penis. I did it. I looked at it like a microphone. But the little one, he sparkles. He skips a lot. So John and I are like, yeah, that's going to be the one.
I think in general we should all skip more. I think we could solve a lot of our problems.
Except if you're a woman, make sure you wear sports bras while skipping.
Or not. Hello.
It's not as graceful as you'd think it'd look. It just bounce and hurt. Like, you see those ladies running like down the street, and I'm like, ow, that hurts.
Abby's leaving the podcast.
She's done. She's like, I'm done with this. Now, have you ever broke anything?
No.
Oh, God damn.
Why
No good stories?
Who has more tension in their back?
You do.
Yeah, in your face.
Yeah.
Do I feel like what is it? Does it seem like stress or just...
It seems like stress, and I don't know how you sit. I don't know your posture.
Like shit. I sit like shit.
Yeah. Because your back is bowed almost. Like, you can tell that you can tell you hunch into yourself a lot. Like, I don't know.
Shut up, Tom!
You're hunched over.
Like, I suggest more porn.
Well,
okay.
Like, Tom, just go upstairs more.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do to relax, Tom?
I settle down with a good book.
No, you don't. You never read.
Oh, yeah. Stephanie, please.
See, this is why I like the couples, because you guys call each other out on your shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't. I like tea with my pinky up. No, you don't. You drink beer out of a koozie. Like,
I go to the gym. I usually go to the gym. I go for walks here and there. And then, occasionally porn.
Okay.
We like smoking cigars. That's nice.
Yeah.
On our pack. This is, we're always so proud that we have this place because we worked hard to be here, and like we have a nice little patio, and it feels so nice to sit out there with a cigar and just chill and.
Well, I have a sponsor that's
a cigar?
Famous Smoke Shop, and it is a cigar place. And if you use Hot 10, you get $10 off your purchase of $85 or more. Or if you use Hot 20, you get $20 off your purchase of $145 or more. So
Is it online?
Yeah.
Should I try to work in more sponsors with her?
That was freaking awesome. That's the first time that I've been able to do that, and it kind of made me happy.
You know, Joy, I hate cooking for myself. Is there anything I could do?
Tom, we should just have sponsors just.
Oh, that's what I was gonna. I was just gonna have every week we're gonna have like Tide, sponsored by Tide.
There you go.
And then just working and it just hopefully they take us on.
Well, also, Blue Apron, they go grocery shopping for you. They send you all of the ingredients and the recipe in a box. It's actually really cool. I've used it. And if you go to blueapron.com/happyendings, you get, what do you get?
A prostitute.
You get 30% off your first order and a prostitute.
That ad probably didn't help that I said prostitute.
That's all right. I'm really bad at doing the sponsors.
Yeah.
It's because I record them and then like put them in the podcast. And I was like, I don't smoke cigars because they're phallus shaped, and I would put one in my mouth and try and suck it probably, and then get upset that it didn't come. So So my sponsors.
That's what Tom like freaks out about every time we're having a cigar.
He's like, it's like a dick in my mouth. Joy, I would be Joy's favorite son right now.
But I'd be like, can I have 2, please?
Another 2 in my hand.
I forgot who the comic was. It's like, I think it was Gary Shanley, and they said, oh, the cigar is just an extension of your penis. And he's like, well, why am I lighting it on fire then?
Why am I cutting the tip off? Well, most people do that. Okay, so no injuries.
No, I played football for 11 years.
High school?
High school and college and grade school.
What college did you go to?
St. Norbert College in De Pere, Wisconsin. Right, it's where the Packers have their training camp.
Is that why you're wearing a Packers shirt one night?
Yes, I love the Packers, even though this year we've fallen on hard times, but
they won yesterday.
They did. They're still in the hunt. I believe in them.
You cannot say anything because my husband loves the Dolphins.
Oh, yeah. That was a great game yesterday.
Oh, he was so happy. I could have asked for anything yesterday and got it.
Did he watch the game? Or?
He did.
Oh, wow.
He was so excited. He's like, babe, well, what? The Dolphins won. Oh, no, they didn't.
Is he from Miami?
No. Just decide. He's from Newhall, Santa Clarita.
Oh, yeah.
Just his sister's boyfriend liked the Dolphins, and I guess, because John was born 73 and 72 was that one year that they had the perfect season.
Right.
So, John was like, the Dolphins they're going to be the best team ever, and they're the Dolphins.
Before California had any teams, I feel like we're just like, oh, I like Dolphins, so...
Right. You know what you got to do with this podcast? That you got to put a camera right down here.
I have that idea.
Yeah, because that would be such a great teaser for it. Is just the person getting the massage.
Well, I want to do you know how Joe Rogan or Bobby Lee, they have the split screen. Mm-hmm. I want to do that where one of it is, because normally we record it. It's just my producer couldn't come today,
right?
Because she drank for the first time last night at the Christmas party, and she's dying right now as we speak, and she has the camcorder. So what she does is she records me massaging, but I want to get 2 cameras and have one just under, so it just shows you guys. That is my next thing. But, this podcast is only 4 months old, if that. So we're just, new ideas, new concepts, everything.
So you're on iTunes, you're on all those things, all the different formats?
I am. I'm iTunes, which was a pain in the ass to get on. SoundCloud is our big one, and then YouTube, because a lot of people don't want to download apps to listen to me. So I was like, okay, just go on YouTube. And and I have Stitcher, Spreaker, Castbox, we're everywhere.
So why is iTunes so tough? What's the process?
Okay, so iTunes you have to submit, and it takes about 72 hours to get on. Mm-hmm. But, okay, it was really dumb, and I figured it out, thank God. And I've done a lot of chat rooms where people are having the same issue. So I got stuck in a loop. So I'd sign in, and it'd go, what do you want to submit? And it has, music, books, or podcast. So the Podcast Connect. Sorry, I'm using your back as my computer screen right now. And so I clicked on Podcast Connect, and it take me back to sign in. So you're in this loop. And so, okay, iTunes, you cannot have them as a host. So you had to find a different host, and then you get a URL that you connect with iTunes. And anytime you upload from your host, it goes into your iTunes account.
So like Libsync or whatever it's called.
Yes, Libsyn is really good. I use SoundCloud as my major one, but I actually think I'm going to switch to Libsyn soon. But SoundCloud's really good, and I love you guys. So what you do is you put in your picture, your cover picture, your information, and blah 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 blah, and then you submit it. My picture was not up to iTunes standard. My pixels weren't high enough.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I got stuck in this loop. And I couldn't figure it out because I thought that they would tell me about my picture after I submitted. Like, hey, you submitted, but this and this and this is wrong. But no, they don't even give you that. They're just like, they put you in this loop. Mm-hmm. So one night, I mean, it took me 2-3 weeks to get into iTunes, and I'm so frustrated. And I'm all, I wonder if it's just the picture. And I'm like, it can't be something that simple. Sure enough, I changed the pixels on it, and it submitted it, and I was on iTunes within 2 days.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I've been in a lot of forums where people are like, I'm stuck in this loop. Because, I mean, it was so bad that I contacted customer service. And they were like, hey, Joy, sorry that you're having trouble, but you contacted the wrong department. You need to contact the Podcast Connect department. Please go to this website. So I went into that website, signed in, and then it said, what are you having trouble with? And I clicked on podcast, and it took me back to the sign-in.
Wow.
So I would have just quit. I would just be so frustrated.
There was a lot of cursing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, iTunes is really rough. For me, another thing iTunes is they just came out with a beta version of their analytics, right? So their analytics, they only say who is listening to your podcast if they have the newest iPhone and the newest operating system.
Oh, wow.
So you don't know how many people are listening. Like right now, I think my iTunes is saying that 35 people have listened to my podcast. Which iTunes is the biggest podcast listening, like people, that's where they go to the most. Just like Kindle is where people read most of the ebooks, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, my SoundCloud has to be comparable to my iTunes. And my SoundCloud, I had one episode with Sean Polofsky, who's just fantastic.
She's one of my favorites.
4,000 listens in one day.
Wow.
And iTunes is still like, nope, you only have 35 listens. And I'm like, okay, no. So my producer called him because this is when we were trying to get sponsors, and you can't get sponsors if you don't have the right number. And the amount of listens that I have on iTunes is, to me, astronomical. I mean, I'm super excited that people actually listen to this podcast. Like SoundCloud, I think I have over 400 subscribers. YouTube, I have over 300. I mean, it's exciting for me, and you know, like I know it's small for other people, but for me, that's big.
Yeah, if we can get like 10 people to listen to our podcast, Tom, huh?
It's fun, right? It's super fun, and I know a lot of it. Like I get a lot of church people who listen.
Oh boy!
So I think what they do is they see the name Happy Endings with Joy Eileen, and they're like, this girl needs to be cleansed of her sins.
Or they have like sexual frustration.
Maybe.
They're trying to work it out.
Maybe.
Well, Happy Endings with the Lord and Joy Eileen. I shall listen to her.
Because I mean, and normally I get like moans and groans on it, and it's just, you know, so yeah, iTunes, you have to call them to get your true numbers. It's a pain in my ass.
So you did get the true numbers then?
I did, but every time you want them, because we need them to get our sponsors, because our sponsors, like you, how many listeners do you have on iTunes, how many subscribers, you don't know how many subscribers you have on iTunes. So the only way you know is if you're like in the top 10, like if you're a Joe Rogan, if you're an Earl Skakel, like they're normally 1 and 2.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, Joe Rogan, it's basically everybody's fighting for number 2. Because the Joe Rogan Experience is basically always going to be number 1. Wow. So every other podcast is fighting for that number 2 spot. Until somebody knocks Joe Rogan off, which you never know.
We're going to do it, babe. We're going to knock him off.
I don't know.
With our UFC talk.
He's terrifying. Well, he's super nice, but he's got a lot of muscle that I want to massage. I see muscly people and I'm like, oh, I want to touch you. In the most professional way. So, yeah, iTunes, you have to call them. So anybody who's listening who has a podcast, call them to get your real numbers.
Wow.
And how long does the call I feel like calling iTunes would be like this. It'd be like calling customer service. And, are you like on hold for hours? Or
my producer does it because she's the one that does all the, like, I'm the talent. No.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need a producer.
She's just, I feel bad. I love her, but she's my gopher. You know,
Yeah.
she's the one who got my sponsors. She's the one who records. She's the one who, like, asks people, like, because we're trying to get in festival. We're trying to take quickies, the one with the table or the chair, to festivals. So she's the one that did. I mean, she's amazing at it. I'm not good at that stuff. So,
How do we get, what's her name?
Emily?
How do we get an Emily?
I don't know. I got so lucky. I gave her a hug at the Comedy Store one night, and she became family.
Wow.
Wow.
So just start hugging random people,
Okay.
and one of them will be your Emily.
Sometimes I feel, because like with my business of like producing shows, and sometimes I feel it's just a little overwhelming doing everything that
A little.
I just wish I had extra help for someone. Like I don't necessarily have the means to pay them, but just like an intern or someone that's interested in, seeing how to produce shows and everything.
Yes. And her and I are just, I mean, I was doing the podcast before. I hadn't released it yet. I was trying to get a bunch of episodes together. Because as you know, comics are very flaky, and I wanted to release one once a week. And she just started helping me. Like we became friends, and then she was like, hey, my friend has this podcast. It's a really great podcast. She's a professional massage therapist, blah, 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 blah. And then so she started booking, and then I started using her house to do it at.
Oh.
And then so finally I was like, you know what? Do you want to just say you're my producer? Like, you do so much for me. And, that's kind of how it happened.
That's cool.
And I don't pay her. Hopefully when the sponsor money starts rolling in, we can do more. But we also decided that any sponsor money right now is going to go to more equipment. Like, that's where the cameras are going to go and stuff
smart
like that.
to invest back into the podcast
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
You have a thing with your hand? Why are we doing the other thing?
Is Tom's back? Is there a lot of tension, or is he chilling?
He's pretty loose. I mean,
Yeah.
the top of his shoulders and his neck, and a little bit in the low back right in here. But no, you're pretty damn loose.
Yeah.
Does that mean he masturbates a lot?
All right.
While my hands are on his hand. You're not left-handed, are you?
I know it makes him feel uncomfortable. That's why I say it.
Well,
No masturbation material for you?
for me, what kind of question is that?
That is a Joy podcast question. Like he's tense now. Like,
That's so funny. That makes him feel so uncomfortable.
I grew up Catholic.
so the priest did it for you.
Oh! Never got touched by a priest.
One priest hugged him
You were
too
a
long,
cute
and then
kid,
Tom's
though.
like, "I'm good."
Oh yeah, one priest. I remember I went to Catholic school most of my life, from grade school all the way to college. Actually, I went to a Catholic college. So in college, I went on this retreat, and we went to the south side of Chicago, worked with inner city kids, did tutoring, and this priest took us, and I was like in my room reading, and he came in. He's like, "Hey, I just want to thank you for coming on this trip. It really meant a lot." And he's like, "Could I get a hug?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So I hug him, and then he's still like hugging me, like for a long time, like way too long. I'm like, "All right." It's just like, this is over, and that was it. But about a year later, he was accused of molesting a kid. I was like, was he trying to molest me as well? I don't know.
Are you sad because you didn't? Like, do you need, like, confirmation that you were a cute kid and you were molesting material?
I was also 19, so I probably wasn't
But
right.
he's too probably old.
You were an adult, yeah.
Yeah.
You
But-
were out of the pedophile range.
I had a young face, though.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's what he thought, too.
Tom does look like, when we first were dating, I was like, oh wow, like he's young looking guy,
Uh-huh.
but he was Tom's up there.
You're up there,
He's
Tom?
60.
I'm
Whoa.
67 years old.
Is that why your skin is wrinkled? No.
Just my balls.
That is the after massage right there.
Right, the after hours, massage cast after hours.
Raw.
Only
I bet Joe...
After Mrs. Marvel's.
Mrs. Mizo.
Yeah, that everyone tells me to watch that shit.
Everyone tells me that they're like, Joy, she reminds me of you, and I'm all, oh.
Because she's a woman doing comedy.
Yeah.
Is that the...
I guess.
I get that too.
Well, no, I try to watch it. I also don't have time for TV because I have the podcast, the kids, the husband, the massage work, the comedy, and then I'm trying to publish my next book. You know, like,
right? I just don't. Tom and I talk about it. It's like a time period. Not into it.
I'm not either.
I make time for TV. I love TV. I just started watching The Good Place on Netflix.
Okay.
Kristen Bell, and it's so good. It's really funny.
I have the only show that I binge watch is iZombie. I don't know why, but I love that show.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
It's cute. She turns into a zombie and she works at a morgue.
Oh.
And so she eats the morgue, the people who are dead, their brains. But when she eats their brains, she gets some of their memories and she helps solve how they died.
Oh, cool.
So shut up, Tom.
It's like a procedural zombie
Where can
show.
we watch that?
That is on Netflix.
Nice.
And I adore it. It's silly. The best part about it is the people's brains that she's eating, she takes on their personality. So she's eating a stripper's brain and she's all up on the guys, and they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't know. I just gyrated my hips for you podcast listeners. And, and then one lady was a habitual liar. So she just she's like, I don't know why I'm lying. And so, yeah, it's funny.
I'll check that out. I tried to watch that Santa Clarita Diet. I didn't like it.
I didn't get, yeah.
But I love Drew Barrymore. She's
Do you?
horrible.
I can't stand her.
Really?
Her lips don't move when she talks, and it freaks me out.
I love Never Been Kissed, and I just grew up liking those movies.
Right. I mean, I like I can't say happy endings anymore due to what I do for a living, but I like the happily ever afters. I mean, that's why I write books, is because it's all happily ever after, but I don't know. I have a hard time with her. When I lie, my top lip doesn't move, so the whole time she's talking, I'm like, she's lying. Her lips aren't moving. She's lying. She's a liar.
But it's insane the life that she had as far as just being 11 years old and at these Hollywood parties and smoking and drinking, and it's
Tom, didn't you have a crush on her?
Oh yeah, she and I were in the movie Big Miracle, not together, but this director, I was in the show Outsourced on NBC, and then this director really liked me, and he put me in the movie Big Miracle, which was a Drew Barrymore, and so he always plugging, but he always works with Drew Barrymore. So I just always thought, and I don't know, I think because of 50 First Dates, she just came across as America's sweetheart. I think she's
because we were talking about we were talking about actors, and who did I bring up that I had a crush on? I think Vince Vaughn. And then Tom never talks about any actor that he liked.
I like Vince Vaughn too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
He's a cutie.
Just that he's just Midwest, tall, like Tommy.
Hey.
Yeah. Successful, smart. I mean, he's everything. Awesome.
Yeah, you gotta get some movie stars like Vince Vaughn and those guys.
That's hopefully. I have a couple porn stars who want to do it.
Nice.
And I'm super excited because I have so many questions. So many questions.
I bet Andy Dick could be on the podcast.
Yeah, then he'll grope you. That'll be great.
Fine. I keep saying, I'm like, who does John have to give a blowjob to for me to make it in this industry?
Andy Dick?
There you go.
Maybe 20 years ago.
I know. Makes me sad. I'm like, why? The casting couch sounded so easy. It's a shortcut.
The porn thing is funny because one of my dreams is to host the VMAs.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to do that.
So I have this thought in my head every time the VMAs are on. I think
It's not the VMAs. It's
What is it?
no, it's the
adult
porn.
Whatever.
AFN.
You know what? People know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I get the letters mixed up.
I think it stinks in there. It probably smells like dirty puss, and I don't know. I have a feeling that venue stinks, and because they're all like fingering each other in the bathroom, like, oh my god, you won best anal, and
I bet they're pretty conservative, you know?
you think?
I'm probably the opposite of whatever you expect.
I don't.
I just think it's funny. Like,
Well-
I know comics that, like, there's been a few female comics that have hosted it. So I think that would be like a cool gig.
There you go, and you'll have to let me know.
Just to dress up and, you know, talk about porn.
Just
Sounds
text me and be like, Joy, it doesn't smell, and we'll be all, oh, my dreams have expired. You're quiet down there. This is funny. I love the
I
fact
fell
that
asleep.
you can't fall asleep. I'll stick my elbow in you.
Oh, all right. I'm awake.
You're back.
So is with massaging, is there, like, I feel, you know, with comedy you start off not knowing what you're doing. So is it like when you're giving massages, is it like, can you hurt somebody?
Go to massage school.
Yeah.
I know, but still you gotta like practice on people, like, to get better.
I was going to school for physical therapy before I went to massage school, so I kind of already knew the muscles, the bones, the origins, the insertions, and all of that.
The insertions.
Yeah, your muscles have an origin and they have an insertion,
Oh.
which explain like it's how they contract, is how they move your bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll get super dorky in a minute. So I don't know. And I've always had the touch, I think. My grandma used to make me massage her feet all the time.
That's worse than the priest hugging me a long
It's a
time.
little bad, yeah. And then she'd make me go hug a priest.
Right.
So, yeah.
Someone from Texas is calling you. Should I answer?
No, it's, yeah. Like, well, I do all these I get these calls from these scammers and I prank them. And, sometimes they call.
Do you record them pranking them?
Yeah, I have a couple. I had one that went like 300,000 views on it because I let him go for a really long time. It's pretty funny. But the guy I was talking to, I was like, oh yeah, I'll go to the Western Union right now. So I pretended like I ran over there. And I pretended I was in the store. And then I said, oh my gosh, my boss is here. I got to hide. He's like, go in the bathroom. So I did like this whole like scenario with the guy. It was like an improv scene.
That's fantastic. I had a guy it was Prince Harry, DM'd me on Twitter.
Nice.
And told me he wanted me to be his orphanage ambassador.
Oh.
And I have screenshots of it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited. So then I told him I kidnapped a kid and was sending him to the orphanage. And he's all, no, I did not say to do that. I just wanted money for the kids. And I'm all, you know what? It took me a lot to kidnap this little girl. You better take care of her. And I'm like, and you probably should dye her hair because, you know, her picture's all over the internet and her parents are kind of a little upset. I will not do that. And then I found a photo on the internet, like a stock photo of a little girl with a hand over her mouth. And I sent it to him, and I'm all, this is the little girl that's going to be showing up on the plane. And I gave him, like, all this plane information. And he's like, you need to stop taking kids.
I like that's where his morals come into play.
Right.
I'll
And then,
steal money, but not children.
and it was Prince Harry. So,
Right.
of course, all of this is in an English accent. So it's very charming. Like, kidnapping is more charming with an English accent, I think.
Well, while Steph was getting her massage, I was looking at my Twitter and I got 3 new followers, and it's the same guy with 3 different names.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, Twitter's doing a great job. I think all those sites, Twitter is horrible.
No, I have 48,000 followers on Twitter. So
Oh my
Twitter
gosh.
is amazing.
Oh, that's right, because you were helping me promote my special when it
I
first came out.
was.
I appreciate that.
Wow.
Your special is awesome.
Thank you.
Like, a lot of the jokes I've seen you do, so like when you started them, I was excited. I'm like, oh, I know how this one's gonna go.
Yeah, I just put it on Amazon Prime. So
Nice.
now it's free for Amazon Prime people.
That's what, you know what? Amazon rules my life. Because I
I bet.
have everything on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah.
How does it work with downloading books, or do you get paid for that, or is it just is it free on the site, or how are you doing it?
So you get to name your price for your book.
Uh-huh.
So I have one book it's a series, and the first book is a cliffhanger. So I make that one 99 cents because I want people to do the consecutive ones. So the 99-cent book, I think I get 35 cents every time somebody purchases it.
Right.
The $2.99 book, I get $1.05.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's this thing called Kindle Unlimited where people can pay $9.99 a month, and if any books that are subscribe to the Kindle Unlimited, you get paid per page. So people can just borrow. It's like a library, and so you get paid per page because some people might read 10 pages and never read your book again. So you only get paid for those 10 pages.
Right.
And what you do is you get a monthly thing like. So and so million people subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, so every page is going to be worth this much.
Okay.
So, and then the next month it'll be like this month so and so many people. So now it's like the pages vary depending on how many people are subscribed to Kindle Unlimited. So and when you're in Kindle Unlimited, you are Amazon exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't have it on iTunes, you can't have it on Nook. It has to be Kindle Unlimited exclusive. So they're really good at like marketing and corralling you.
Yeah. Was that just a forearm you put into my back?
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm watching what you're doing, and then I'm doing the same thing at Abigail.
She's loving it.
She is.
Look at her face. Have you guys always been like bulldog people, or?
I've always been obsessed with bulldogs. I had a little statue bulldog when I was a kid, but she's my second one. They have a lot of issues, but they're such goofy personalities, and she's the sweetest
She is
dog
so
I've
great.
ever had.
That's how our basset hounds. Like I have
Yeah, I
a
love
basset
the
hound
basset.
fetish, and I because I have big ears, so I like animals with big ears. I'm like, yeah.
I just love their bodies.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
so goofy.
Just like the short, like her, like the short.
And she's like, for 11 years old, like she's still in pretty good shape. She still like jumps off the couch and like,
She shouldn't.
she shouldn't.
Yeah, that's how our basset is.
But with bulldogs, they like 11 is crazy. They don't live that long. So like every day, I'm like, wow, she's still here.
Yay! Another day. Yeah, that's how our basset hounds. And we went to the shelter and we got a basset hound pit bull mix.
Oh, boy.
That's Farley. He's goofy as hell. It's like big head on a little dog. That's how Farley got his name.
Big head on a little dog.
Yeah. And yeah, like I love the basset hound personality because they're so goofy. And he seriously thinks he's one of the kids. Like the kids go outside and he's like, "We're going outside." The kids go and eat dinner. He's like, "It's dinner time." Like he's so funny. And then Mitzi is our she's Chihuahua wiener dog mix. So she's also black, which everybody's like, I can't believe you named that dog Mitzi. Like Mitzi would be rolling over in her grave if she knew. And she's our like protector. She's the warrior. And then Delilah's our basset hound, and she just doesn't move. You just leave her alone because she's like, I'm tired. Like she'll look at the kids, and the kids will give her kisses, and then she's like, go now.
Yeah.
I've had my kisses. I'm done with you.
Well, Abby's like we have our bed, and once we leave, she'll just go on the bed, and she just loves it. It's like, this is mine. This is not yours.
Humans have left.
Have you done? Did you say Brody Stevens is going to be on the podcast?
He is. He talked to me last night.
Oh, I just to get him to sit still for a half an hour, I'd be impressed.
Sam, I don't know if you know who Sam Tripoli is, but he's very ADHD. And he's that person that can't be off of his phone.
Oh, yeah.
And his phone, he charged it, so it was way far away from him. And in the middle of the massage, you hear him go, "Hey, Joy, can you go get my phone for me?"
We're doing the podcast.
And yeah, and then he got on his phone, and I'm like, okay, we're pretty much done. And I did him for I think 45 minutes, and his podcast ended up being like 35 because I had to cut out 10 minutes of him going, oh.
Yeah, I've been on podcasts where like the guys left the room as I'm talking. He's like, "I'll be right back," and it's like, "This is like, what are we doing? What is this?" Like,
Tom's on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I did Bert Kreischer's. Yeah,
I did his wife's.
Oh yeah,
bands. Yeah.
Well, he's the one who encouraged me and Steph to start our own podcast. So it was last year I was on his, and I should have taken him up on the offer. He's like, "Oh yeah, we can do it right now," and I was like, I don't know.
You know what though? Stick with it because so many people. There's so many podcasts out there right now, but it's the ones that you're like the unprofessional ones, the ones where people forget the charger to their computer, forget to plug in the microphone.
Wait a minute.
But yeah, there's a lot of people who start them, and then there's also like I like the fact that it's you two together because you can't talk about the same thing, which is why I'm like, what can I make unique? And I'm like, I'll do massage, and hopefully talk about people who are injured, and then I get two people who are like perfectly healthy, and they're like, no, I've never broken anything in my life. So,
but my back's fucked up because I'm a hunchback.
Yeah, is there anything she can do to, like, I don't want to be with her if she's going to be a hunchback.
Sure you do. You can call her Quasimodo. You can get her a bell pull for Christmas. Like, there's so much you can do.
You can do the heavy lifting around here. That's what she
Whoa!
can do.
That's what
Just stretching, icing. Like, if it gets too bad, icing. Like, if you're on the computer, just, standing up and pushing your shoulders back. Boobs out, shoulders back.
Tits out.
Tits out, shoulders back, yeah.
She has bad wrists, too.
All right.
Because of the bartending.
Bartending and serving all these heavy-ass plates.
That's how my elbows are because I do this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And that was one of the first jokes I ever wrote is, I'm a massage therapist. No, I don't give happy endings. Or no, what did I say? I have to stop giving happy endings, though. And everybody's like, boo, it's not my fault. Workers' comp doesn't cover tennis elbow. It's just a stupid joke.
Well, one thing, when Joy took my stand-up class, standupteacher.com.
I took 1 and 2.
Yeah, but she always wrote. She was always very, and I think that was just part of being an author and stuff like that, was where you excelled. And so every week, because sometimes I have students that take it and they don't really make any adjustments, and you would always make adjustments, which I think is great, and you'd experiment and stuff, and I think that's how you become a better comic is yeah.
Your class, I liked your class because I knew that I had a specific date, specific time that it was going to be dedicated to comedy.
Right.
And that was awesome. And you'd give us those little homework assignments, and I try and be teacher's pet, straight A student. So I was like, I gotta do this, and just, I got to find more like I found my favorite comic besides, Tom and Steph Clark. I got to find the comic that I love the most, and he does crowd work.
Who dat?
Rick Ingram.
I've heard of him.
He is the funniest. He just gets on stage and he just does crowd work, and it's off the top of his head. It's so amazing to watch him. I have a huge comedy crush on him. And John, and they like to make fun of him. Like, John's like, hey, Joy, Rick wants to say hi to you. And I'm like, no, go away.
Well, you mentioned earlier Sean. You had Sean Plum.
Yes.
And before I got into comedy, I was interning for someone involved in comedy, and I saw Sean, and I thought she was just so funny, and she was so sweet. And then years later, like last year, Tom and me and Sean worked together in Santa Barbara, and it felt so cool to, like, before doing comedy and looking up to somebody and then being on the show with them was like, really awesome. She's so, like, not enough people, I feel like she's underrated, or like Tom, like not enough people know of her, maybe I don't know, but she's just like so amazing.
In fact,
just like off the cuff crowd work like Tom, and just well-crafted jokes and so relatable. Physical.
Stretch it out.
And just genuine, like a fucking genuine person.
So nice. I was, like, you know how you get, like, you kind of get upset because you're just not getting mics, and it just gets a little frustrating. And one day I got super frustrated, and I text her, and I'm all, hey, because she told me, she's like, I'll get you in with the gays. She's like, I'll get you gay mics. And I'm all, I don't know if I'm cool enough, but fuck yeah. And I called her, I'm all, I know you said that you would get me some gay mics. I'm all, I just need mics. I go, I haven't, it's struggling to get on mics right now. And she's all, baby, I got you. And then she's like, but she's doing a show right now. She's all, as soon as this show's up, she's like, I have you. And that, it was so nice. And I was like, I'm not like begging and asking, and I hate doing this. And she's like, no, I've got you. So it's nice.
I think that's one of the things I tell comics is ask.
Yes.
Like, so many comics, like, they're like, oh, I wish I could do this. And it's like, have you asked them? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, a lot of it is, like, yeah, sure, they're going to turn you down sometimes, or not respond. But 90% of the time, like, you know, if you got the product to back it up, people are going to.
Like, I was hesitant to ask in the beginning, and then people are like, oh, wow, you're doing a lot of shows. It's like, yeah, because I ask a lot.
That's where I'm at.
I tell women they don't ask enough. I have no female headliners hitting me up for stage time.
Right.
Like, rarely any. Mm-hmm. Or if I say, hey, follow up with me in a month or two, never.
Yeah.
Right.
And I encourage women to, like, ask. I don't know why. I think maybe it's a society thing to wait to be asked. Mm-hmm. But I think that more women need to be aggressive in comedy.
That's where I am right now. That's the step I'm on right now, is I'm starting to ask more. And it's very hard for me, but that's where I'm at. Because there was two things that in Tom's comedy class that I got that stuck with me. Is one, you said ask, and two, you said show up.
Right.
Just show up. And I've noticed that is a huge thing where people just don't show up. It's amazing.
Right. I know. Being reliable.
Be on time.
Yeah.
Just follow through and, like, respond. Like, if comics, let's say I had a comic cancel and I need a spot filled quickly, I remember everyone that responds to me quickly. So then I'll remember to ask them, like, oh, this person responds within, like, a half an hour to an hour. Or, oh, this person doesn't look at their messages and doesn't get back for a day, then I'm not going to ask them.
And that's funny. That's how I've had a lot of spots. Like, hey, Joy, blah, blah, blah just canceled. Can you be here? And I'm like, give me 30 minutes. I'm on my way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, if you're reliable and then you have, like Tom said, the material to back it up, you'll, I think, always be working.
Right.
You just got to get the material. No.
Right.
But yeah, it's like hand in hand. You got to get on stage to get the material together, and you got to get in front of good crowds. Like, you know, you can't, like, these guys that stick with the open mics. Like, yeah, you're paying your dues, but, you know, performing for your buddies isn't going to help you get better for a crowd out in Ventura or something. You know.
Yeah.
I know a lot of these. I haven't had luck finding good open mics. I don't really do them because I've experienced is just waiting a few hours and then performing for comics on their cell phone or looking at me, like, with an angry face. I'm like, oh wow, this isn't helpful at all. And then, like, I've heard mics where you pay, and I'm just not a believer in paying I can't do it.
Yes, the only open mic I do is the one at Cabo Wabo, and that's just because they bark. They bark for 2 hours at the show, and they go on. It's on Hollywood Boulevard, so they go down to Hollywood, and it's fun because you don't know what kind of crowd you're getting. Like, there was 6 Australian tourists that had no idea why they were there. Somebody just said, "Hey, there's a comedy show. Go up there," and they just took direction really well.
Wow.
And they're sitting there, and I'm like, you guys, no idea what you're doing, and they're all no, and so you get that's the crowd I like because it's almost like performing. But yeah, the other open mics, no, there's times I spent 4 or 5 hours, and
Yeah.
No stage time whatsoever.
I find ones out in the suburbs that no one goes to. I probably shouldn't share this because it's my little secret.
Cut this out too. I like this secret.
But I go to ones where it's like musicians, and then like, or especially just out in the suburbs. There's not really that many comics out here, and like I found one this coffee shop, and you call to reserve your spot. You do 15 minutes. And, some people aren't paying attention. They're on their computer, but there are some paying attention. And I just did 15 minutes on a Saturday.
It's amazing.
And also, like, in the improv community, like these improv, like UCB or what's that one called? The Clubhouse. We've done stand-up at places with improv groups. And, the improv groups are very supportive. Like, they're a good audience. It's like, I don't know why people bang their head against a wall doing some coffee shop with 100 comics that aren't listening when you could spend your time better elsewhere.
No, I agree. Okay,
Or
how do you feel?
Oh, so good.
These other comics told me an idea they had where they rent a theater, not for that much, and then they bark and get a crowd in. And then they worked out like 30 to an hour or whatever material.
That's how the Comedy Channel guys did it, and it wasn't. They built their own stages, like they built it.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to plug anything? Oh, your butt crack is.
Am I done?
Full, yeah.
All right.
Unless you want to plug something. Plug something.
Check out
Funny Girl Events
and my special Outraged on Amazon Prime.
and the Clarks.
And the Clarks.
And the
Our web
Clarks.
series.
And shop or adopt, don't shop. I'm dyslexic.
Shop, don't adopt.
No, adopt.
Adopt, don't shop.
All right, bye. All right, that was my episode with Tom and Stephanie Clark. Please go and like all of their information. Also, mine. Like, subscribe. We're on YouTube. Comment. YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes is where I really need the bump. So if you guys could help me out, I'd really appreciate it. Also, sponsors, and just get a hold of me on any of the social media. Or you can also get a hold of me at joyshappyendings@gmail.com. Goodbye.